Oh, we're having a good time here tonight.
Yay!
Who here wants to quit smoking? Put your hands up. No one smokes, or no one wants to quit. That's
wrong fruit.
Who here wants to lose weight? Who here wants to have more confidence? Who here, can you guys hear me in the back? Alright, who here wants to make more money? There we go, that's a big one. Or who here just wants to have incredible sex? We can help you with that in the end, I'm just kidding.
Okay, go home.
So, hypnosis can help you with all of those things. But first of all, I'm going to explain a little bit about how your mind works. I know her. She was one of my victims a while ago on one of my presentations. Okay, so hypnosis. There's two parts of your mind. There's your conscious and there's the unconscious. Now your conscious part of the mind thinks it's really important. It's responsible for all your logic, all your actions, all your reasoning. However, your unconscious mind, and some people like to call it subconscious, controls everything else. So you don't think about breathing every second of the day, you just breathe. You don't think about sending blood to the little toe on your left foot until I brought your awareness to it. Your unconscious mind does that for you. You don't sit around thinking what's your next thought's going to be, what's your next feeling going to be. It just automatically make more money to get over my problem. It's such a battle, it doesn't work. If we could consciously fix ourselves, none of us would be alcoholics, none of us would be help you. Because where most modern day therapy works with your conscious mind and just talking about your problem over and over again, with hypnosis we can bridge from your conscious mind all the way to your unconscious and really start to make changes there and there. Oftentimes people ask me, well, what is hypnosis? Is it mind control? Do you control somebody's mind? And I always say, if I could really control somebody's mind, do you think I'd be here tonight? I'd be on a Caribbean island somewhere as a billionaire with 10 supermodels, as lovely as you are. So no, I can't control your mind. Or that's what they tell me that I should say. But basically, hypnosis is like this. Who here likes movies? Who here likes to go to the cinema? So, can you imagine going to see one of your favourite movies in the cinema? I don't know, for some of you it might be comedy, for some of you it might be romance, for some of you it might be action. You go to the movie, you watch the movie. Now your conscious mind knows that none of this is real. You know that you're there for 2 hours. You know that the people you see on the silver screen are actors. They're being paid an awful lot of money to be there. You also know there's a person called a cameraman, and behind the cameraman there's a director, and behind the director, there's a writer. So consciously, you know that none of this is real. But you suspend disbelief for an hour or two. And if the movie's really good, and you really get in touch with the actors, the actresses, the emotional music, the story, you start to believe it. Now, even though consciously you know it's not real, you start to buy into it. And if it's a really good movie at the end, you come out, you're like, wow, that was amazing. That's a bit like what hypnosis is like. Your conscious mind that knows it's just somebody talking to you. But see, your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between something that's real and something that's vividly imagined. I don't want you to do this right now, but if any of you were to imagine, who here has children? Who here has pets? I don't want you to do this, but if you were to imagine your child or pet getting really, really sick for about 5 minutes, you'd probably end up crying and getting upset. Now, consciously you would know that none of this is real, but your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between something that's real and something that's vividly imagined. So that's what we take advantage of when we use hypnosis. It's a bit like this. In hypnosis, you're always under control. You're always in control. Some people think that hypnosis, again, is the hypnotist having some magical spell all over you. It's not. If anything, it's almost like you're driving the car. Your car is your unconscious mind. I'm sitting in the back. I'm guiding you where to go. Now, you've still got your hands on the wheel. You've still got your foot on the accelerator. My job is just to tell you how to get where you want to go in a quicker, safer, more ethical, unfattening way. Now, you could still turn left when I tell you to go right. That's completely up to you, but you're always in control. My job is just to guide you to get you there very, very quickly. it's almost like this, hypnosis. Hypnosis and getting into your unconscious mind is like, this is the greatest nightclub in the world, and this is where we want to go to. Your conscious mind acts like a bouncer. We want to bypass the bouncer so we can get to the greatest club in the world, because that's where we can make some wonderful changes. I can see all that sugar's hitting in you guys. You look half asleep. So if I could get you all to stand up right now for me. Stand up. Everyone on your feet, please. If you all could face me, I want to show you something about how powerful your mind is right now. You're going to want to have a little space. So maybe just reach out. Make sure you don't poke anyone's eyes out. To the right, to the left, front and behind. All right. You don't have to do this, but it's a really cool thing I want to show you about your mind. In a moment, not just yet. You can relax your arms by your side right now. In a moment, not just yet. In a moment, not just yet. I'm going to ask that you put your feet together. I'm going to ask that you put your left arm and hand by the side of your left leg. I'm then going to ask that you put your right hand forward like so, not just yet, just watch me first. I'm then going to ask that you extend your index finger, that's your pointy finger out like so. I'm then going to ask that you turn round as far as you can, and when you go as far as you can, just simply take note of what's in front of you. So if you all put your feet together now, put your left hand on your left thigh, extend your right hand out, make sure you're not going to poke anyone in the eye, and I want you to slowly start to turn as far as you can to the right side. Noticing that at some point you're going to get a bit tight, a bit stiff. It's almost as if you can't go any further. It's like, oh, I'm a bit tight today, my back's a bit tight. Well, you've gone as far as you can and you can't go any further. Just note what's in front of your finger. Just make a mental note because you're going to need that. And now, once you've done that, bring your hand back. Lovely. Shake out your arms. I want to show you something really cool with your mind that you can all do. Is it okay if I show you something really cool about your mind? Put your hands up if that's okay. Lovely. Fantastic. So, I wondered if you could all just humour me for a moment and just close your eyes. And don't worry, I'm not hypnotising you all right now. Alright, I'd like for you now, if you feel comfortable, keep your eyes closed. I'd like for you to imagine that we do that same exercise again in a couple minutes' time. However, this time you can go even further. It's as if your spine, your arm, your shoulders were made of rubber, were made of elastic, and you can go farther than you ever thought was possible. Just see what you'd see, hear what you'd hear, and feel what you'd feel if you could go even further. Say if you could go 5 feet further. Say if you could go 5 foot further, in fact 5 inches further. What would be in front of your hand if you could go 5 inches further next time? What would you hear? What would you be saying to yourself? What about if you were to go 8 inches further to your right? What if you could go 8 inches further to your right? What would be in front of you? What would you be saying to yourself? What would you be feeling deep inside if you could go just that little bit further? Yes, this is a metaphor for life coming up right now. And now just imagine if you could go just 10 inches further to the right. Because sometimes in life it's just about going a little bit more to the right when you've been going to the left. What would be in front of you if you could go just 10 inches to the right? What would you see? What would you hear? What would you be saying to yourself if you could go a little bit further? Imagine it's real. Pretend that it's real inside your mind. Make it as real as you possibly can. Now, while keeping your eyes closed, guys, once again, keeping your eyes closed, please, put your left hand on your left thigh. Extend your right hand and arm out in front of you. And then safely, I'd like you to start to turn to your right as far as you can. Keeping your eyes closed, please. This time, imagining that you could go further. You go a little bit further. Imagine what you'd see and feel if you could go a little further as you were more flexible, as you were more mobile inside. And when you've gone as far as you can, simply open your eyes and notice what's in front of you. And relax your arms. Give yourself a round of applause. Would you like to know how you did that, guys? All right. I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to tell them. All right. Folks, would you like to know how you did that? Yes or no? Yes. Lovely. All right. So here's a few sneaky things that I did right. The first time that you did it, I started to emphasize certain words and with certain tonality of being slow, of being stiff, of being rigid, giving you unconscious suggestions as you went round. Then I got you to come back, shake out your arms a little bit, and I got you to rehearse inside your head like a professional athlete would of what it would be like to go a little further, what you would see, what you would hear, and what you would feel if you could go just that little bit further. And I started to use terms like flexibility, mobility, rubber, moving, going further and further, using a metaphor right there. And put your hands up if you went 1 inch further than the second time round. Put your hand up if you went 2 inches further the second time around. 3 inches? 4 inches? Keep your hands up if it was 4 inches. 5 inches? That's what she said. 6 inches? 7 inches? Anyone do 8 inches? Oh my goodness. 9 inches? 10 inches? Anyone more than 10 inches? Good Lord. Alright, and relax. That's how powerful your mind is. That's how the thoughts and suggestions you're getting mostly unconsciously throughout the day is affecting you. And if you could just take a little technique like that and just point it in a way that you start to consciously use it, imagine what you can do in everyday life. Because sometimes in life, we're going left when we should go right. Sometimes we're just 1 inch off where we need to go, and we just stop before we get to that point. That if we had the right guidance and help, we could go that little bit further and get exactly what you need. Now, when people come to see me, they mainly come to see me because they want to quit smoking, and we help people quit in 1 hour. To be honest, that's how I make most of my money, and I'm happy to help those people. It's a bit boring though, because I've done so much of it for 20 years now, and it's the same thing. I like to get people that come in with old ideas dropping away. I like to get people who come in with interesting problems, like children that wet the beds, that nothing's worked for them, or soldiers that come back from a war and have PTSD, and everyone's told them that there's nothing they can do about it other than be highly medicated, or deeply depressed people that have been on meds for 20 years and are told that this is their life and they better just deal with it. These are the people I love when they come in, because they've mostly tried everything else in their life, and they come to see me and they've run out of choices, they've run out of help. So when they come to see me, it's something we do very, very differently. Now, what I do a lot of times is with hypnosis, the first part of it is explaining, when people come to see me, what it is. Because a lot of people have misconceptions of what hypnosis is. The second part, what we do is we help to relax you. Because you see, when your body's relaxed, your mind's going to relax also. So when we relax your mind and body, we can start giving you positive suggestion. All the suggestion is, basically everything that you believe about yourself and the world is a suggestion that either you or someone else gave to you. Some of the things you accepted, some of the things you didn't. With hypnosis, we can suggest positive things. So if you want to lose weight, we suggest that you lose weight. If you want to be a non-smoker, we suggest you're a non-smoker. If you create too much stress and anxiety in your life, we give you a suggestion. I give you a suggestion of being more calm and relaxed. That's where most hypnotists stop. And it's very, very powerful. That's about 30% success rate. Most talk therapies have about 15 to 20% success rate, based on 4 years and over 600 sessions. What makes the hypnosis I do very, very different is we do a lot of other things as well. After we've done the suggestions, for most people, for 30% of people, that's enough. But there's a 70% of people that they need more. So what we do is we do a thing called regression. And basically what regression is we take people back to the root cause, the first thing that happened that most people will not consciously be aware of that created their problem. And for most people it's between the ages of 0 to 5. Now I don't know about you, but I can't remember anything that happened to me before 5 years of age. There's a neurological reason for that we don't. So in hypnosis we can hypnotize someone to 3 years of age, for example, and they can tell me their colour of the book that's on their shelf in front of them, and they never knew it consciously. So we go back to the root cause when the problem happened, you get some insight, get some understandings, so people can let go of that problem once and for all. We can then basically do forgiveness therapy, and what forgiveness therapy is oftentimes there's people, or even just ourselves, which is a big one, but once we forgive ourselves or the people that we felt mistreated us in our life at some level, mostly unconscious, you can let go of the problem. It's almost like a yarn of string that's been wrapped over and over again. It's knotted and it's ugly. With hypnosis you can start to unwind that yarn, so then you just have yarn. It's not all knotted and ugly anymore. And then we basically use some techniques, some neuro-linguistic programming, some neuroscience and some other things. And we put it all together and it makes the most powerful change therapy that I've come across in 20 years of doing this from England to New York to Brazil to right here in Ottawa. I'm just curious though. I'm just curious. Does anyone here have a phobia? Hands up. Like scared of heights, scared of spiders, scared of people, scared of public speaking. Does anyone have a? So we've got a few people. So may I ask you what yours is? Heights. Lovely. May I ask you what yours is? Heights. Sorry. May I ask you what yours is?
Success.
Success. All right.
I'm scared of snakes.
Snakes. All right. Okay. If you'd like to let go of your phobia here tonight in the next 5 minutes, keep your hand up. All right. You want to get rid of your phobia? Yeah. All right. Come up on stage. Give her a round of applause. You okay? Lovely. What's your name? Tanis. I'm Dr. Luke. Lovely to meet you. I'm going to get a chair for you as well. Is it okay, Tanis, if I ask you some questions about your phobia? I don't want to get too much into personal history and stuff like that. You know what? Please take a seat for just a moment. So you're scared of heights, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, right now, because what I know about phobics, guys, is like phobics don't have to be in the middle of their phobic episode to have a phobia. Meaning, if I get someone in my office and they're scared of spiders, I don't have tarantulas. If they're scared of snakes, I don't have some pythons under my desk. But I'm thinking about it. I'm also on the first floor as well, so I can't even really test the height. But I know from really good phobics that they can do their phobia anyway. So if I asked you right now to close your eyes, and I asked you just to remember a time when you were in the middle of an episode, where you were really high up, maybe you were on an escalator, maybe you were on a tall building, maybe you were on an aeroplane, just something like that. I don't need to know what it is, but if you got something, lovely. And I want you to just imagine that you were there now, looking through your own eyes, see what you'd see, hear what you'd hear, feel what you'd feel if you were there now. And I promise we'll let go of it in a minute, but I want you to act as if you're there right now. Nod your head when you're there. Lovely. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is, oh my God, I'm going to explode, this is horrible. 0 is, it's gone, it doesn't exist anymore. Right now, as you re-experience it, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you?
7.
7. You're at 7. Could you make it an 8 for me? Lovely. Is it an 8? Lovely. Can you make it a 9 for me? Lovely. Can you make it a 10 for me? I promise we'll get you out, but can you make it a 10? And you can start to see the I promise, just stay there for a moment, okay? You can start to see the state changes. She's not really there, but in her mind, she's really there right now. It's a 10, isn't it? Does anyone think she's faking?
No.
Does anyone think she's a stooge? Open your eyes. Stand up for a minute. Good. Shake it out. Ah. How long you had this?
Probably 30 years.
Shit. It's going to be a long night. It might take 5 minutes. What would it mean to you if you were to get rid of it once and for all tonight, so it's gone?
It would be great.
I know from speaking with phobics and working with phobics before that they've stopped themselves going on trips and maybe experiencing things in the world. If you'd feel comfortable, what kind of things does your fear of heights cost you up to this point?
Glass elevators.
Glass elevator, that's all right.
That could be anywhere.
Okay.
CN Tower.
CN Tower, okay.
Yeah. Probably things like rides.
Like a fairground, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Amusement park.
Park stuff, yeah.
Lovely. Cool. So part of what I do is eyes open hypnosis. It's not always eyes closed. So people come into my office, sometimes their eyes are open for the whole time and they don't have their problem, but they're like, Dr. Luke, you didn't hypnotize me. I'm like, are you still scared of heights? No. Do you still want to quit smoking? Do you still want to smoke? No. Sometimes the eyes are open, sometimes the eyes are closed. I'm going to try something. I'm not going to try, I'm going to do something with you. Are you comfortable? If we just mess around here, just get rid of this fear and crush it. Yeah. Lovely. Could I get you just to face me, square on? Lovely. And what I'm going to ask that you do in a moment, right, is I'm going to ask that you follow my finger, keep your head perfectly still, but simply follow your finger. You can think about anything you want to think about, all right? But I just simply want you to move, follow your eyes to my finger. something right there, isn't there? That's right, yeah. Okay, that's it. And there's something right there as well, okay. Just follow it, you're doing great to the best of your ability. Lovely. Close your eyes, big deep breath, tense all your muscles. And open your eyes, breathe out. Scale of 1 to 10 right now, where is it? Be honest.
Not bad, probably about 3.
About 3. Shit, it didn't work. Oh god. I feel so embarrassed. It took 30 seconds to get rid of 5. Alright, we got 3. Do you want to get rid of the 3 once and for all? So it's a 0? Would that be okay? Lovely, alright. Just face me again. Get your 3 fingers like so. This is going to be really silly and it's going to feel ridiculous, so I'm going to do it with you, okay? This is the most ridiculous thing I teach people. When I was taught this technique, I laughed. I thought, I'm never doing this with any of my clients. They're going to laugh me out of the office. Then I did it and it worked. So, get your 3 fingers like so. And I simply want you to follow me and tap just above your eyebrow. There you go. Tap about 20 to 30 times. You can think about anything you want to think about. This isn't about distracting you. I just want you to tap. And just breathe. Eyes open, eyes closed. It doesn't matter. Then I'd simply like you to tap to the side of your eye, please. To the side of your eye. Just there, about 30 times. Nice and gentle. Just breathe. Think about whatever you want to think about as you tap this problem away. Once and for all. And then just underneath your eye, if you would please, for me, about 30 times. You're doing fantastic, you're doing great. Just breathe normally, just tap. You're doing great. And then just underneath your nose, where if you're a man, you'd have a moustache. Just tap right there, about 30 times of 1. That's lovely, you're doing great. And then just underneath your bottom lip for me, about 20 to 30 times. Lovely, breathe. Think about whatever you want to think about. Then what I'd like you to do is tap your collarbone about 30 times. It's the bony bit. It's a bit more than there, if I may. And lovely, about 30 times. Told you it's a bit silly, eh?
Once again on stage in yellow tutu.
Yellow tutu. Don't think about that now. That's right. And change sides to me. And tap about 30 times on the other side. Just tap away that phobia once and for all. Gone, disappeared. Finished. And then what I'd like to do is tap your karate point. If you open up your hand, little finger to the top, and just tap where your watch would be. Yeah, about 30 times until the bony bit protrudes. Yeah. There you go. About 30 times. And if you would do the other side for me as well, about 30 times. Lovely. Do this with your arms now for me. Close your eyes. And now just stroke your arms up and down as if you're giving yourself a hug. You're giving yourself some comfort and feeling. As all that past trauma just can disappear now. You can let it go. Letting it go doesn't mean you don't think about it anymore. It just simply means it doesn't have that emotional charge. It doesn't stop you from doing the things you want to do now. That's right. And just relax your arms. Keep your eyes closed. And we're going to count back from 5 to 0. And we're going to sing Happy Birthday to you out loud. And I'm going to do it with you. In fact, we're all going to sing Happy Birthday out loud. Keeping your eyes closed. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to me. Open your eyes. Notice. Where is it? Now.
Yeah.
What? What? No, try. Don't find that you start to laugh as you think about the thing that used to be your phobia now. As you think about it now, try and get some of it back and find that you can't. It's almost as if like there's a shield that prevents it from coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, like really try, because you've had it for 30 years. You said you were really good at this. It's just, what, you're laughing about this, like you've had 30 years, and it's like really try to get it back and find it. You try and get it back and it just won't come back. Really try hard to get it back and just find the more you try to bring it back, the more you laugh, the more you remember that tutu, and you start to laugh as you think about it now and take it with you. Now I want you to just close your eyes for a moment, get comfortable, and I want you to think about something you want to do in the future that if you had done it in the past, you would have had old discomfort about it. Maybe it's going on a trip on the CN Tower, maybe it's a glass elevator, maybe it's a trip on the plane, I don't know, and just notice that you're there. A little smile comes into your face, and that smile is your badge of confidence, knowing that you've got rid of this now, once and for all. You can open your eyes.
Yeah,
Good
I
job.
feel it at all.
Good job. Give a round of applause, guys. Yeah, so any questions about anything tonight, about me, about what we just did, about hypnosis in general?
Just a quick comment. That did look silly.
I know, it looks silly, right? It just works. It's the most ridiculous thing, but it just happens to work. I didn't invent the technique. It goes by many different names. Some people call it emotional freedom technique, and the science behind it is, like a masseur, we had to tell you, an acupuncturist, we've got meridian lines all around our body, and when we tap these meridian lines, these points, they release a little bit of serotonin, a little bit of dopamine that starts to make us feel more calm and better about ourselves, and it starts to change the neurological environment in your brain. So when you think about it, you can still think about it, but the chemical reaction isn't exactly the same. Any more questions? Yes?
This.
Yes.
What did that do?
What did that do? Here's an interesting thing. For us to retrieve memories, we've got a certain pattern that we're unconscious of. Like if I ask you to remember your first car, just remember your first car. All right. Remember what was your first telephone number? Just remember it inside your head and say it to yourself. You did it? All right. You're different, but most people do this. Most people, you can relax. Most people, when you're very visual, aren't you? Yeah, that's right. Okay. So most human beings, when we retrieve information, we've got a process with our eyes. We don't simply stare forward. If you ask someone, what did you look like? What was your hair like when you were 16? They'll generally look up and to the right, and they'll have a visual remembered. If you ask them to imagine what their hair would look like if it was pink, they'd look to the up left, which would be visual created. Basically, we've got ways of coding memories and sensations in our body. There's a lot of science behind this. So when you get someone to re-experience something that used to be a problem for them, but you get their eyes to do something else, they can't have the problem. They can have the thought, but they can't have the emotional kick. Because it's almost like getting a CD. Before there was MP3s, right? Getting a CD and scratching that CD with your car keys and then putting it back into your hi-fi and trying to listen to your favourite song, what would happen? It would skip, right? It wouldn't play exactly the same way. That's what we're doing in someone's mind. So they can have the same memory. It ain't about taking memories away, but it's you take away that charge so it doesn't prevent you from living the life that you want anymore. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Cool. Yes, sir.
You were using the anchor on the shoulder.
Very good, yeah. I was doing that sneaky. I didn't think anyone would see that. You're an NLP guy?
Both of us noticed it.
Cool.
And it surprised us. Can you explain why you were doing it so much?
I was doing it unconsciously, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I wasn't even really aware of doing it. But I like to stack the odds in my client's favour. So I like to throw it. When my clients come in to see me, I like to throw everything in the kitchen sink at them. So there's no way that their problem can leave without being annihilated. So good for seeing it. I'm not aware of a lot of stuff. But you know the 4 stages of learning, right? To get good at anything, I'm going to answer your question in just one moment. There's 4 stages of learning. First stage of learning is, we call it unconscious incompetence. You've got a problem, but you don't know you've got a problem. It ain't really a problem. You just know that your life isn't exactly how you want it to be, but you're not in a massive amount of pain. Basically, you're stupid, but you don't know you're stupid. This isn't a bad place to be. You're fully in the matrix. Here's where pain starts to happen. Level 2 is conscious incompetence. I've got a problem, I'm consciously aware of it, I don't know how to fix it. A lot of people come to see me at this stage, very, very painful. Level 3 is conscious competence. You want to lose weight, so every day it's like I have to train for an hour, I have to have less than 30 grams of carbs. You're doing stuff consciously, but it's still using the conscious mind and will, and it's still hard work. Unconscious competent is when you just do stuff automatically, like a golfer when they're in that flow state, like a Tiger Woods, a professional athlete, musician, artist, or someone who's really good at what they do. They just start to do things automatically. Make sense? Cool. Yes, lady in the red blazer. I like the red blazer. There's a big chain that you've got on there. A lot of bling.
What is an anchor?
An anchor, best way to describe an anchor is Are you, all right, for some people who are religious, when they see a cross, when you know, like a cross, it makes them think about everything about their religion. You don't have to think about Christianity and stuff. You'll see a cross and it will remind you of your faith, of your religion. It's almost like something that you'll see, and as soon as you see it, you'll experience all of the things that go with it. Another example for that is, this is an anchor. Can you see this? Hi, how you doing? I extend my hand out. Her unconscious reaction is to extend her hand. I didn't ask her to do, but her unconscious thing is I see a hand coming towards me, so my hand, non-threatening way, extend my hand. It's like a program that starts in your head that we can take advantage of in a good way to help you make changes. So I'm going to answer you just a second. Does that answer your question? No. All right. So let me think of a better way to describe what an anchor is here. All right, an anchor is a stimulus response to something, meaning, okay, here's an example. Let's say you're in a really, really happy place. You had a fantastic day, maybe it was a wedding, a holiday, and someone came up to you and they gave you a big hug. And that was the only time people hugged you. When someone would hug you in that way, you'd go back into that state, the state of being very, very happy. Alternatively, if you've been really, really bad, you've had a really horrible day, right, and someone comes up to you and gives you a hug, and that's the only time they've given you a hug, in your mind, the emotion gets linked to the hug. So you get a hug, but instead of it making you feel good, it makes you feel bad. It's a stimulus response. The science is, there was a guy called Pavlov about 100 years ago, and he would have a bell. He would have a bell. When he rang the bell, his dogs would come, they would salivate. After a while, he took the bell away and simply used, I believe, a tuning fork instead. Dogs still came because of the guy doing the gimmick with his hand and having an object in his hand. So one thing gets processed in your mind. Does that make more sense? Yeah. All right, lovely. It's kind of a difficult thing to explain, but it's hopefully it makes more sense. I'm going to answer your question in a minute. Lady in the blue.
Well, it was interesting that they called on the tapping, so they noted that. But to me, I know that you've defined what tapping is, but why did the reference for them get cued on the tapping of the shoulder? Is that because it's the stimulus of we're bringing back a memory?
Sorry, it just put me into a hypnotic state right then. could you say that again to me?
Okay, so she's asking the question, what is tapping? Which is, I think, what I'm asking.
This was what was anchoring. This lady asked me about anchoring.
Yes,
yeah.
so you had tapped her shoulder.
Yeah, anchoring and tapping are two different things. The tapping was this thing. The anchoring was I just touched her just very gently on the shoulder.
So is that a cue?
It's almost a cue unconsciously that when you enter this new state and putting a little bit of pressure there, it can, because you're probably not used to people just coming up to you all throughout the day and just touching you there, and you can be fearless when I do that right now as you think about your old problems. Gone, right? You've been smiling. It feels good, right? There you go. See, now we know the anchor works. Yeah, so the tapping is something different, hitting the meridian point. That thing that I did was the anchoring. I did it unconsciously, but it worked. It worked. Yes. Alzheimer and dementia. I haven't worked